Storytime. On the various Pacific Islands, there resides many primitive tribes who remain unscathed during the two waves of the colonial movements between the 16th and the 19th centuries. The indigenous people there have been living their primitive and isolated lives. It was not until the World War II they got drawn into the modern civilization. In order to facilitate the Air Force battle towards the Japanese operations, the United States, along with few allied countries, has established a temporary air base on this small island in the Pacific called Vanuatu. When indigenous people saw the ships and the planes of the US military, they were completely shocked, having no idea what those things were. Thought those people are gods arriving riding mythical beasts. The Allied forces began to deploy facilities and establish bases on the small islands which had important strategic positions. The indigenous people who were willing to interact with the Allied forces helped move things, did some physical work. Those who are unwilling to serve the Allies are basically treated like wild animals, fenced up in the airport runway with barbed wire, so that they won't cause any trouble. In order to borrow this land from the indigenous people peacefully, the US military give them a lot of food and clothes. The indigenous people are very happy and think that this is the God giving gifts to them. In a later documentary, an old indigenous person described how people from different countries treated them. British and French people don't treat you as a person at all. What they ask you to do, you must do it. You cannot talk back or even look at them. But Americans are much better than them. They remember our names, give us food and clothes, and taught us to sing their songs. What impresses me even more is that some Americans are just as dark-skinned as we are. This makes us believe that we can become like them one day. Just when the steel giants, thunderbirds, countless seas of people, and lavish goods made these indigenous people dazzle. Suddenly, the war was over. The Allies descended like a whirlwind and disappeared like a whirlwind. Nothing was left, no explanations provided, leaving the indigenous people with infinite confusion. In the 1970s, when some anthropologists set foot on these forgotten islands, they saw something quite bizarre. Some people lined up, holding wooden rifles, and marched seriously on the island. There were these fake planes made with wood and hay. Some islanders also wear some strange glasses made with wood on their faces, staring at the leaves and shaking their heads intently. They were also proud to show a powerful artifact. After enchanting, then it can be used to cut the trees with great speed. On special occasions, the indigenous people on the island will write the word USA with red paint on their bodies. All the scholars were puzzled by this strange behavior, but soon found out what they were up to. Now, let's go back to 30 years ago and look at the sudden appearance of the US military from the perspective of the indigenous people. So, they see these white people neither farm, nor hunt, nor collect, just wear strange things on their head, and flipping through some white sheets. Then still giant birds will come in the sky, bringing delicious food, exquisite clothes, and all kinds of new and unexpected things they call cargo. To support these white people, what the hell is going on? What are they doing? What's the point behind these white people's weird actions? After the US military left, the elders, sages, and the wizards from different islands and the different tribes all have reached the same conclusion. These white people are performing religious rituals, and these seemingly meaningless acts are ceremonies to summon the god of cargo. As long as they do the same thing, the god of cargo will also come and bestow them with cargo. The islanders began to imitate this prayer, hoping that they will also receive a steady stream of gifts from God, just like the American soldiers. So, those aboriginals held sharpened bamboo, lined up in columns, and marched in the wilderness. They crafted fake airplanes with wood and hay to imitate the god's bird, cleared a flat runway on the ground, and even put torches on both sides at night to guide God's plane to land. They wear earphones made of coconut shells, completely absorbed in shaking their heads, trying to receive the messages from the god of cargo. Well, decades have passed. The US military has not returned, and the god of cargo has never arrived. Even after these small islands have been exposed to modern civilization, the worship of the cargo god has not disappeared. They believe that one day, sooner or later, the cargo god will come again and bring them endless supplies. So, the anthropologists asked these indigenous people, "It's been so long, and the god of cargo still hasn't come. Why do you still want to wait?" The local indigenous people answered, "If you white people can wait for Jesus Christ for 2,000 years, then we can wait just as long as you." Well, that's the story of the cargo cult. I bet that after hearing this story, many people can't help but laugh at those people for being so ridiculous. Of course, the prayer of these islanders will not have any results, as their understanding of the real world couldn't be further from the truth. But if you think about it, you will find that most of the religions in this world have the same mental structure as the worship of the cargo. If you think the cargo cult is ridiculous, you should also think Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, and Hinduism are equally ridiculous. The fact that more people believe in it does not justify the fallacy in its logic. Stephen Roberts once said, "I contend that we are both atheists. I just believe in one fewer God than you do. When you understand why you dismiss all the other possible gods, you will understand why I dismiss yours." If those Vanuatu people were confronted by the Han Buddhism, they would refute it by saying, "You haven't practiced our religion. How do you know that the god of cargo does not exist? We worship the god of cargo by practicing holy ceremonies, like reading the tree leaves every day, march with sharp bamboo sticks, and wear a coconut shell headset. You haven't practiced. Therefore, you are not qualified to discuss our belief." If the Vanuatu people were questioned by the Western people, they can refute it by saying, "Is it not stupid for you civilized people to worship constellations? Then we worship the god of cargo. Have you ever seen the heavens or hells of the after-death world?" If you interpret all kinds of randomness in nature into miracles by God, isn't it equally stupid as our religion? Water into wine, parting the sea, Jesus the Savior, the Judgment Day, Nirvana liberation, karma reincarnation, doesn't all seem any smarter. And the Vanuatu people can keep going. You civilized Catholic people actually believe that your God can feed 5,000 people with 2 fish and a piece of bread. You civilized Islamic people actually believe that if you bomb yourself to death, there will be 72 virgins waiting for you in heaven. You civilized the Hindu people actually believe that there are an infinite number of gods, each caters to a special desire of yours, and with the appearance of random human and animals' body parts attached to each other. So, my point is, every single religion that exists does not survive the trial of critical thinking. They are all imaginary fantasies. Instead of religion, the current best explanation of the world is evolutionism and science. The demarcation point between science and religion is, I'm wrong. Religion screams they know everything already. Its science admits that there are plenty of things we still don't understand. Religion claims they can never be wrong, and don't you dare to question it. Its science welcomes criticism and evolves from it. Religion requires you to believe in it in order for your wishes to come true. Its science don't give a shit about what you believe in. It's true whether you like it or not. Tim Minchin said, "Science adjusts its views based on what's observed. Faith is the denial of observation so that belief can be preserved." David McAfee said, "God has an unalterable and perfect plan for every person, but you should still pray in a vain attempt to change it. In the future, I bet you we will laugh at all the religions like we laugh at the geocentric model now. Now, the acknowledgement of the falseness of the religions is just the first step. We have to go deeper. To confidently say that you understand something, you also have to understand why the opposers disagree and believe the things they believe in. I used to wonder why, despite obvious evidence, 85% of the world is still religious. Christians used to think that the earth is flat. That's like a fatal mistake in the Bible. Yet I don't get it how people are still cool with it. The churches never apologized. The people never doubted and pretend as if they were always right. People don't stop believing in God after the exploration of space. People don't stop believing in religion after evolutionism perfectly refutes creationism. Are you fucking blind? Time and time again, reality has overthrown the unmovable facts and the principles in your holy books. How do you even rationalize all of that to yourself? Now here's the answer. Religion is unscientific, but believing in religion is scientific. The original invention of the religion is for the ruler to control the mass, legitimize their power, and extort wealth. That's why no matter which religion it is, it does three things quite effectively. Divides people, controls people, deludes people. Remember, religion is regarded by the common people as true, by the wise as false, and by the rulers as useful. Religion is a natural coping mechanism for meaninglessness. I can understand why people need religion, because this is a universe full of chaos and unexplainable events that are completely out of our control. Existential need for purpose, the reassurance of our self-worth, and the desire to belong to a community, and the need to feel constant enlightenment and improvement in life. Religion denies randomness and erratic nature of the world and offers explanations from the meaning of life to the reason why she broke up with you. It rules out all the uncertainties and fear of the unknown. That's why it subtly caters to the various greediness of human nature. Remember, if you don't pray, you will go to hell and suffer. If you pray, you will enjoy endless everything in heaven. If you pray your wishes, you will have this, you will have that. If you do this charitable kind deed, you will be rewarded by God. And the best part is, for people who are uneducated on logical inference, it cannot be falsified. It cannot be proven to be wrong or refuted. If your wish is granted, then the God is almighty. If your wishes are not granted, then that can be justified by your heart is not pure while praying. You doubted God at one point or another. Above all, I have no hope of convincing any of you religious people whatsoever. Because you cannot convince a believer of anything, for their belief is not based on evidence. It's based on a deep-seated need to believe. In the book, mistakes were made, but not by me. Tavares said that most people, when directly confronted by evidence that they are wrong, do not change their point of view or course of action, but justify it even more tenaciously. Even irrefutable evidence is rarely enough to pierce the mental armor of self-justification. The fact that you are telling him that he has been wrong all along is an absolute denial of his identity, a negation of all the efforts and energy he has devoted already. And that's too painful a pill to swallow, to accept that you were an utter moron who lacks the ability to think independently. So most people would rather just keep denying the truth and choose the blue pill. From a psychology perspective, this can be explained by cognitive dissonance. The more costly a decision in terms of time, money, and effort, or inconvenience, and the more irrevocable its consequences, the greater the dissonance. But it's your right to believe in religion or whatever superstition stuff. Like Voltaire put it, I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to death your right to say it. And I still have religious friends, the same reason that I can still hang out with vegan people. We can still have fun together, as long as you don't try to impose your belief on me. Unlike those who accuse Chinese people doesn't have a faith. What you are doing is the equivalent of a monkey accusing a human has no tail. A disabled person criticizing a healthy person for not riding a wheelchair. No wonder. A study from the University of Rochester proves those who are religious are likely to have lower levels of intelligence, generally poorer, because they are lazy and depend on praying to achieve goals instead of getting out there and putting in the hard work. Greediness plus laziness equals superstition. Too stupid to understand science? Try religion. George Carlin said, "Those who dance are considered insane by those who cannot hear the music." Okay, let's sum it up. In this video, we started with the cargo cult story on Vanuatu Island. Then we went through the parallelism between the cargo cult religion and other existing religions. Then I pointed out, instead of religions, science is the answer. Next, I illustrated 3 reasons to answer why people believe in religions. Lastly, I pointed out why it's virtually impossible to change the opinions of these believers. My job here is not to give you every single evidence to prove my point, or every single rebuttal to refute your point. There are many resourceful and excellent people out there doing this job. My job here is to inspire you to doubt and to question, to embark on a journey you otherwise wouldn't, so you can finally listen to reason.